Okay, so this work is focused on the phenomena of corruption and immigration in the Western Balkans over the years from 2012 to 2022. Corruption remains a serious problem for Western Balkan societies and authorities. The high levels of corruption in Western Balkan countries threaten economic growth, increase inequality, discourage investments, and cause stress and frustration among citizens. So, this is the agenda of this short presentation. Corruption in Western Balkan countries continues to be widespread, and serious efforts are needed in fighting the problem. According to a Transparency International report, justice systems in Western Balkan countries often fail to effectively investigate and sanction high level corruption cases. Furthermore, those who are convicted often receive relatively light sentences. According to a study of Ferruni et al., the impact of corruption is more destructive in in the Western Balkans than in European Union countries. The authors investigate the effect of corruption, urbanization, and economic freedom on the economic development of Western Balkans and the EU countries over the period 2009 2018. The empirical analysis indicates that corruption has an adverse impact on economic development, whereas economic freedom and urbanization stimulate economic development in both groups of countries. According to another study of Zenelli 2016, corruption is one of the main issues the Western Balkan is facing, challenging both domestic and foreign firms in doing business. The author also investigates the role of corruption in hindering foreign direct investment in Western Balkan countries during 1990 to 2012. The empirical findings confirm the negative role of corruption in the attraction of foreign direct investments to the Western Balkans. Moreover, Western Balkan countries that suffer higher levels of corruption have lower incomes per capita. The figure shows the 2022 Corruption Perception Index in Western Balkan countries. The average CPI score was nearly 38.7. Montenegro obtained the highest score among Western Balkan countries in 2022 with a CPI of 45, while Bosnia and Herzegovina recorded the worst performance with a CPI of 34. Corruption is often considered as one of the main factors of immigration from the Western Balkans. The Western Balkan route is known as one of the main migratory paths into Europe. Western Balkan countries are both a migration source and a popular route for Asian and African migrants. According to Frontex, which is the European Border and Coast Guard Agency, so according to Frontex data, the number of irregular migrants that follow this route fell steadily for some years after 2015 and started to increase again from 2019. The figure shows the number of illegal border crossings on the Western Balkans from 2012 to 2022. The number of persons who followed illegally this route in 2022 was more than 136% more than in 2021. Only a limited number of authors have studied the effect of corruption and other closely related variables on migration flows. Dimant, Krieger, and Mirekis in 2013 analyzed the impact of corruption on migration for more than 100 countries between the years 1985 2000. According to the empirical evidence, corruption is one of the main push factors of migration, particularly fueling skilled migration. The authors argue that corruption tends to reduce the returns to education, especially for the better educated persons. Kurai and Schneider in 2016 investigated the relationship between immigration and corruption through the system generalized method of moments, fixed effects, and instrumental variable estimations. The empirical results in this case show that corruption increases with the immigration rate of high skilled migrants, and on the other hand, the immigration rate of individuals with low and medium levels of education increases at low levels of corruption and decreases beyond the specific threshold. Poprawe in 2015 also investigates the relationship between corruption and migration. The empirical findings indicate that countries with high levels of corruption encourage immigration and discourage immigration because they provide unpredictable economic conditions, a lower quality of life, and insecurity. The formulated model is estimated in a cross-sectional data set of 230 countries. Furthermore, larger populations, common language, and a common border stimulate migration flows, where bilateral distance discourages migration. Other statistically significant variables include GDP per capita, education, inflation in host countries, and education in home countries. Begu, Davidescu, Apostu, and Ganache in 2019 investigate the relationship between corruption and migration, considering this time a sample of European countries over the period from 2008 to 2016. According to the empirical results, the level of corruption in a given European country is positively related to migration. According to ARIF 2022, migrants generally select destinations with low levels of corruption. The author uses a panel dataset over the period from 1990 to 2000 that formulates a modified gravity model. Empirical results also show that migrants with a higher level of education are more likely to choose less corrupt destinations. Similarly, Mala and Deubertis in 2017 studied the main determinants of immigration from Western Balkan countries through the well-known gravity model. The authors considered three determinants associated with typical concerns for the Western Balkans, such as the standard of living, unemployment, and corruption. The authors confirm the statistically significant effects of the independent variables on immigration from Western Balkan countries. The formulated model of this basic paper includes the bilateral distance, the CPIs of Western Balkan countries, source from Transparency International, the sum of total populations of the Western Balkans, source from the World Bank, and of the selected European destinations, and the difference between the GDPs per capita of host and home countries, also sourced from the World Bank. The considered response variable is the number of immigrants from each Western Balkan country residing in 25 European destinations. The first table shows the definitions and the expected size for each of the considered parameters, whereas the table below reports a summary of the results of the estimated equation, where all the variables are expressed in natural logarithm. The respective empirical tests show that the random effect estimator is an appropriate technique for the considered model. It can be observed from this table that both the basic variables and the new experimental determinants are statistically significant and follow the theoretical expectations. So the main objective of this work was the preliminary, we can say, investigation of the phenomena of corruption and immigration in Western Balkan countries over the period from 2012 to 2022. Corruption remains a serious problem for Western Balkans societies and governments. Furthermore, corruption represents one of the main push factors of immigration from, uh, from the Western Balkans. As we noticed, the estimated econometric model indicated the statistical significance of perceived corruption and other relevant factors in migrant stocks of the considered destinations. Thank you.